Hello again. Thank you very much for joining me here on Movie Ninja. Tonight I'm going to be talking about The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, the latest film featuring the Cape Crusader. And this film harkens back to the edge of the Tim Burton era and the Christopher Nolan era in the best ways possible. This film has Batman confronting a much more comprehensive field of crime than simply going after one or two villains for whatever MacGuffin or whatever crisis may be affecting Gotham for the duration of the film. This one is much more of a deep dive. It is very like a neo-noir as well. It is very much a crime drama, and I think that works in a way that other films in the Batman franchise haven't really capitalized upon as of yet. It is incredibly well written. The villain, the main villain, the Riddler, is someone who is more is he's the scary thing about this character is that they are less fictional contemporaneously than perhaps Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, or even the Joker. The Riddler in this film has a malevolent aura and a malevolent personality. And this is a kind of villain that sees themselves as the be-all, end-all savior of society, or something to where he can garner radicalized individuals and then mobilize them, towards his purposes. It's far more powerful than I was expecting it to be. Now, that being said, as I mentioned, it has a great field of depth for more of a crime drama than something that we're a little bit more familiar with when it comes to Batman. We have Alfred, we have the gadgets, and we have a villain. Batman goes after the villain, and there we go. As long as you understand these components and place them together properly, then you'll have a successful film, as we've seen time and time again. Most of the time. I should stress most of the time. Joel Schumacher era was a thing. I'll talk about those films actually at a separate time. Anyways, but for most of the time, as long as you understand the components of this character, the world that they inhabit, and balance out the risks involved, risk to Gotham, risk towards Bruce Wayne and his fellow crime fighters, things like that. It's easy enough to get right, and it does still in many ways. Even though it goes much further into a crime drama than what we have seen many, many times in the past. But it still feels very Batman-esque. It still feels very, this is a Batman film. So, with regards to the performances, almost everybody, is really impressive. Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle. Selina Kyle is, in this version of Catwoman, she is someone whose entire life was shaped by the criminal element of Gotham. Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon is someone who's a veteran cop, but he's still somewhat naive with regards to perhaps the practices of his own of his fellow policemen. You have Colin Farrell. Undoubtedly, many of you have seen those clickbait articles that's like, "Oh, you won't recognize Colin Farrell. He's buried under appliances. You won't be able to recognize him." that being said, his performance as Oswald Cobblepot is incredible. Not a hint of an accent. He does so well. He does so well to hide his accent. Whenever he does that, whenever he actually plays an American Western character, I'm always very impressed with how he's able to just no accent whatsoever. He's very on top of it. But his character was very well done. John Turturro as Falcone has a very particular gravitas. He is undoubtedly the most veteran actor in the cast. And he brings that presence as someone who's very cold and very cruel to the cast of the film, and it's wonderful. Then there is Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson does a good job. However, his performance is one note. In this performance, you are not getting Robert Pattinson from The Lighthouse. You are not getting Robert Pattinson from High Life. You are getting single expression Robert Pattinson inside the batsuit and outside the batsuit. I would like to give a praise towards his physical performance, but with a film like this, it's really hard to determine exactly as to what, how much of that is him versus a stunt person. I don't know, So and that being said, it's not just with someone who's playing a superhero. Harrison Ford also had stunt doubles, and anybody who's ever been in an action movie has had a stunt double because they're, action movies are dangerous. What I'm saying is that even though it was competent, it was a competent acting job. You have Robert Pattinson pretty much just as, and that's the entirety of his one expression throughout the duration of this. But like I said, there's not too much to really sort of discuss, trying to be as spoiler free as possible, as I typically am. But this is a film that it exceeded expectations. I thought I was going to go to a standard issue Batman blockbuster film. Instead, what I got was a Batman film and an excellent crime drama. As I said at the beginning, this is something that harkens back to the grim edginess of the Tim Burton era, but with a very down-to-earth sort of idea of, oh my, given the right elements, the right horrible elements, this could happen. Theoretically. Yes, there's still a little blockbuster spectacle to where it's that would be a stretch, but still, it talks about organized crime, political corruption, radical domestic terrorist groups. All of these things combine, and any one of them would make an excellent sort of just standalone drama film. However, here they are mobilized into one of the best Batman films I have ever seen. As a rating, I give this year. I hope it doesn't seem like I'm just handing these out, because it's only happened twice now. But I am giving The Batman 10 out of 10. I do strongly feel that it deserves it. Right. Well, that being said, that will be the duration of this review. Have you all seen it yet? I have a question. What is, to date, if you have not seen this film, what is, to date, your favorite Batman live action? I'll limit it, because there are many animated films. What is your favorite Batman live action film? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you very much for joining me here on Movie Ninja. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.